Bob Rae of, oh, what do you mean it's your hemisphere, the Americans? I don't know if you've seen what Pete Hegseth has been up to. I would try to take it from that guy. But Bob Rae, once again, who just finished his 5-year ambassadorship to, where was he the ambassador to? The UN, of course, naturally. He says, this is a quote from him. He told Global News in an interview that the US under Trump is rejecting multilateralism in favor of asserting its dominance over the hemisphere without any notion of legality. There's no such thing as international law. Can we just set that aside for a second? But this is what he said. We're basically being told by the Americans, we'll do whatever we can get away with, and who's going to stop us? Well, I believe that is true, which is a license to take over any country that they feel is getting in their way. We're not in Kansas anymore. This is a new ball game, and we need to understand the consequences of all of this. Nobody cares what Bob Rae has to say. Can you imagine, like, anybody taking Bob Rae seriously at this point? Like, we'll get into what Pete Hegseth has been doing over the last 24 hours, because I love this news cycle. I just love it so
It's
much.
a great algo to be living in right now,
my
isn't
goodness.
it?
But, Bob Rae crying on Power and Politics the other day saying, how dare they say it's their hemisphere? Well, what are we going to do about it? By the way, but I literally don't care about the Canadian hand wringing about ousting a narco dictator. I just don't care. Michael?
Bob Rae proved himself to be the worst Ontario premier in history from 1990 to 1995. And it's amazing because he's had a lot of competition. He's still ended up the worst. It's amazing that Canadians speak out against this, because we really have no relevance in the world.
Right.
Like, we have been absolutely neutered by our federal Liberal government, that basically we don't matter. Like, we could have mattered. We could have mattered, but what they have done to this country by neutering us economically, we've got the 4th largest oil reserves in the world, and they have effectively they haven't really shut them down, but they basically said, we're not going to do anything more. And now we're in this full position where we don't, it's amazing that we talk out against the US, but if we ever got in trouble, we would need the US to come and save us.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
It's like being pissed off at the lifeboats in the Titanic, but saying, okay, eventually I got to jump in the thing. Right?
Right.
It's ridiculous. And so, but Bob Rae or any political talking head, or Chrystia Freeland for that matter, who that story just drives me nuts. Right.
We're going to talk about her in a little bit. Yeah.
We have the UN is irrelevant, and any Canadian politician speaking on behalf of the UN is even more irrelevant.
Well, but this just goes to show you what kind of circles Bob Rae runs in, right? Like, he belongs to the Tony European set, the business class and private jets. He's in a class of people that have no touch with the people back home in Canada. You know what I mean? When he speaks, he doesn't speak for the average Canadian. He speaks for these power elitists from Europe. And what I think is really special here for Bob is that what he's basically arguing is that nobody asked permission. No, but Trump didn't ask permission to say this or to claim this. Well, no, Bob, because that's what big alphas do. They don't ask the permission of betas, and that's what Bob Rae is in this situation.
I love Bob Rae of Rae Days complaining about American dominance over the region. Rae Days were a little whiff of Caracas brought to the public sector in Ontario when he forced them to have 12 days of unpaid leave because he needed to balance the budget, or at least get his spending under control. And now he's talking like he's some sort of moral authority on politics in the world. Allow me to be petty just for a second.
Okay.
Just for a second. Can we bring up a picture of Bob Rae for a second? Bob Rae looks like the final form of the Power and Politics panel. Because, I've remarked over and
they
over
start
again.
they
That
start looking like each other.
they all start looking like each other, but more to the point, if you go down the line, they start looking like the same potato in the stages of going to seed. You know, you start with Althea Raj, and then you get to Chantal Hébert, and then Andrew Coyne, and then the final form, I believe, is Bob Rae, where it's just, and then by the time you get to Bob Rae, you can just cut it into 4 and then drop it ground and get a new potato plant. He's quite something to look at. Anyways, let's keep going. The reason that the Canadians should kindly shut up, and everybody else should actually shut up about what's happening in the Western Hemisphere, where we're all a little bit more safe, by the way, and less potentially less polluted by toxic drugs on the streets of our cities, is because the Americans can do this. Just while we're all in bed, the Americans seized 2 Ghost Fleet tanker ships, including a Russian-flagged tanker linked to Venezuela following a multi-week long pursuit. In 2 pre-dawn operations, the Coast Guard conducted back-to-back operations in the North Atlantic Sea and one in international waters near the Caribbean, said one of my favorite members of the administration, Kristi Noem. Both vessels, the mobile tanker Bella 1 and the motor tanker Bella 1 and the motor tanker Sophia were either last docked in Venezuela or en route to it. Oh. And so this is what the Coast Guard's doing. This is like a whole of government effort to bring Venezuela under control. Do we have a video of that? Yeah, here we go. So let's all just, when the Americans say this is their hemisphere, let's just watch why. This is like 2 minutes, but see the guy sliding down.
So they're repelling
right onto the
hovering helicopter onto the ground, as you do. Look at that exhaust coming off that machine. Holy Hannah.
And they're running with their guns, and they're going to take control of this.
And this is at night?
At night. This is night vision. So they're really like they've been at this, as Kristi Noem said, for the better part of the week.
This is heat vision. This is heat vision, Sheila.
This
like, look at this.
FLIR, as they call it. Yeah. Look at all of them. That's why it's their hemisphere, okay?
Could you imagine being in your little, bunkie on the other side of that door, all of a sudden just hearing a knock?
There's the Americans.
Well, here it's over.
Yeah.
Compadres, it's over.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's why it's their hemisphere, and we should just let them do their thing.
Did you notice the emissions coming out of that ship? And
it's terrible.
Concerned about the environment, and if they could just tow that in and not have those emissions, because I'm worried about my grandchildren 100 years from now.
Right. But yeah, look at those terrible, terrible emissions coming off that. This is a climate crime more than anything.
That's incredible.
Yes. I'm finally glad somebody said this. This is a crime against climate. It's not against Venezuela or the UN. It's a crime against climate.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, Nicolas Maduro really is fulfilling a promise. When he wanted Trump's attention, he got it. This is what it looks like. Congratulations. Yep. Keep going, Doug Ford. Keep running your mouth. Look what could happen. We'll see FLIR videos of Doug Ford getting carted off in the night next.
Better bring help. He's a big boy.
Yeah, there is a video out right now. Do you remember the movie The Hangover? At the very, very end, they played "You Spin Me Around." That song. There's a video right now of Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, and they're basically the very, very last shot where the 4 hangover guys are looking at the phone. Now somebody's turned that, and it's basically a bunch of AI generated images of Maduro being arrested and them playing putt and bounce and Maduro in handcuffs and all that. It's absolutely hilarious. It's like we live in the worst time ever, but we live in the best time for us.
I say it just about every day. It's fascinating to see that some of this stuff is coming out of the official White House account. Like these fun videos are coming out of the fish. And one of the reasons I resent the Democrats so much is we were robbed of this fun for 4 solid years. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, what fun thing did the administration do while I was resting in my bed? It's so exciting. Such an exciting time to be alive.